Hey friends, hey friends, hey friends. It is Rashida, and I'm here today to say hey from Mexico City and to talk to you with my good friend Adalia about being live in Mexico City. We have technical difficulties on both ends right now. Adalia is having some problems, and I'm having some problems. Your comments aren't coming over to me on the platform you use, so I can't really see them right now, but I'm going to be toggling between the program I use StreamYard to stream. So I'm toggling between StreamYard and the YouTube window to actually see your comments. So for some slowdown, that's what's going on. Anyway, hey, it's Sunday morning. It's Sunday morning. We're together. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. If you've never been here before, hey, if you're watching on the replay, hi, sorry for the foolishness, but it's how we start every day. Wait, there's a sound happening. Oh, it was over there. No, child. I was like, not another technical difficulty. Okay, so we are here. We are trying to make things work. Thank you for joining us this morning. I am going to try to get Adalia in the stream, and we'll see if this works. Adalia, can you hear me? Say something. Let me see if I can hear you. All right, let me add you to the stream, see if I can hear you like that.
Can you hear me?
I cannot hear you. Got it. Okay, so Adalia and I were both here for like 10 minutes before we went live, and I could hear her just fine. We were talking to each other. And about 2 minutes before we went live, her sound went bye-bye. And we don't know why.
Can they hear me?
So I'm going to take her off again because we don't know what to do. I have no idea what's happening. So she's got to troubleshoot over there, and I'll be here live with you guys. We're going to keep the show going. Let's do it. All right, I'll see you. Keep fiddling, Adalia. I'm going to take you out of here. She took herself out. All right. Okay. Woo, y'all are in the... Oh, you guys can hear Adalia? Oh, I can't hear a single word she's saying. So maybe it's something happening on my end. Let's try this again. Let me text her. Let me text her. Okay, so I told her to come back. I told her to come back. I'm so glad you guys were here to tell me that you guys can hear her because I really cannot hear a thing. I don't know what's happening. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Stephanie is in Curacao, so we're going to talk about her for a second. After 2 weeks of being a captive in Mexico City, Miss Stephanie Perry made it to Curacao, and we're all I'm very, very jealous of her. I don't know about y'all. Okay. So let me see if I can figure out why I can't hear Adalia. And hopefully she'll come back soon now that we know it's me, not her. Oh, God. Let's try it. Okay, so hopefully that got fixed. Y'all, going live with someone else in front of an audience is like 17 things that can go wrong. And so we're just trying to make it work. All right, Adalia, add to stream. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can't hear you. But apparently everybody else can hear you. So what do I need to hear you for?
Well,
it's set up right on my end. I don't know what's going on.
I know.
Adalia, while I am now trying to figure out what's going on, why don't I make you the person? Can I just make you the person?
I don't know.
Why can't it just be you? Let's see. Boom. Adalia, introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, y'all. Good morning.
Now I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. Hey, y'all. I'm Adalia. Aborisade, Picky Girl Travels the World. It's been quite the morning so far. I am currently not using a microphone, so the little tick, tick, tick you hear in the background, that's Mia trying to stealthily walk across the living room. I hope y'all can still hear me. I hope Rashida comes back soon because this is her show. I can't see comments. So hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up. so I can at least see. Hello, can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Okay.
So it wasn't my computer. It's something in StreamYard. It's not letting us
Oh,
see the comments. And I can't see the comments either. I have to go to YouTube
okay.
to see the comments. And I couldn't hear you when you had that, when we had this layout a while ago. But we're back. Okay. So,
Okay.
Adalia, did you tell them? I heard you. I know you didn't tell them how long you've been in Mexico City. I know you didn't tell them what you do there. You're, like that was low
No.
key, that was like a C- of an introduction.
But I am horrible at introducing myself, and anybody who spent any time with me knows that. I have been living in Mexico City for a total of 2.5 years, a total of 2.5 years, but there was a 2-year break in there in between. So I've lived here twice, and this time for 1.5 years. I don't know what else y'all want to know about me and this city.
Why did you decide to move to Mexico City?
The first time I moved here because I needed to leave the country I was in. My job no longer existed, and I did not want to go to the US. I wanted to stay in Latin America because I have this foolish dream of learning to speak Spanish. So it was out of Mexico City and Medellin, Colombia, and the flight was cheaper here. I'd never been here before I moved here.
Okay.
So that's how I ended up. And really from the minute I stepped out of the airport, I was like, yeah, this is for me. This is where I'm supposed to be.
And that's how I feel. I think from the first time I landed here on vacation, I was like, this is nice. This is all right now. So I've been in Mexico City on and off for 2.5, almost this year, it'll be 3 years. And then it's been a solid year for me this last time. And been in an apartment for a year. I'm renewing my lease very soon. Oh, I've extended it and now I'll renew it. So lots of stuff going on for both of us. But chat has questions. Oh, it would be easier if I did this on my phone. So I didn't have to.
Because I don't see any of the comments.
Mm-mm. Can you do it in YouTube?
Probably.
While not hearing us?
Yeah.
Mute that tab. Okay. Y'all, it is not easy doing this. Let me just go to the tab and so I can do it there. All right. So hello to everyone who is here. We really appreciate you being here with us. And we got answers to your questions. Okay, the first one I see is from Halisi. Hi, Halisi. Good morning. We have our appointment for temporary residency on 2/4. I'm guessing that is in the US. What is the best Mexico office to complete the process? Some seem to be more lax than others. Okay, so I don't think there's an easy answer to this, and I think Adalia would agree. You're supposed to register where you're going to live. People register in other offices, but then they have to change their address again, like go into the office where they're going to be and change their office again, which is kind of a pain. So if you want a one-step process, do the second part of the residency process in the place you're going to live. That would be my answer. Adalia, what do you say?
Yes. I was going to say the place you plan to be for a while, but that's based off of when getting your actual green card used to take several weeks and required multiple trips to I&M. It made sense to apply someplace you were going to be for like a month or whatever. If you don't have your heart set on one specific location in Mexico, that's fine. But legally, if you are a temporary resident, you are supposed to notify them of each change of address. So I don't think there is one office that's better than another. I really don't. Not for that.
Okay, I can't hear Delia again.
Oh no.
Oh no, okay, now I can. I couldn't for a while, but okay. Anyway, I was in the other tab. I don't know what's going on.
Oh no, either.
we're struggling today. Honestly, if you want to make it easy, hire someone to help you. My mom hired someone in the state of Guanajuato to help her, and it was cheap for what she got. It was inexpensive, and she pretty much just had to fill out the forms and hand them to someone else, and they did all the work. She just showed up to get her picture taken. She showed up like, "Hi, I'm here to take a picture." Meanwhile, I was in the office like, "Okay, I'll sign this and these 17 additional papers that aren't part of the original package that you're telling me I have to sign." And then I go there, and then I sign something else that I don't understand, and I do, yeah. But
I can't think of a good reason why I didn't hire somebody. I guess I like speaking struggle Spanish. I don't know, but yeah, hiring somebody shouldn't cost you more than a few $100s.
no, mommy, if you're still here, can you mention how much your person cost? All right. All right. What other questions do we have? Where can you get your hair done? It's funny because we don't have the answers.
No.
Adalia almost always gets her hair braided when she goes home to Houston. Or
the last few times, yeah.
I got my hair braided by someone who lives in Playa, a Black woman from Nigeria. Is she from Nigeria? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Or Ghana, who lives in Playa and occasionally travels around to do hair. I think this is her first time coming to the city to do hair in the city. First or second time. Next time she comes to the city to do hair, I'll be back on her client list again, like, "Hey, girl." There are a lot of hair braiders in town. I haven't found them to be consistent or responsive or priced reasonably for what they're offering. There are also a lot of bad braids in town. Like 1993 braids.
Because braids are popular with Mexican women. So there are lots of people who will braid your hair. The quality and what you get is going to vary. But if you're looking like you want to blow out, you want to trim, you want to style, yeah, I have no answer for that.
Go to white men to get it done, and I haven't reached that level yet. Like, I'm gonna be home with a blow dryer trying to figure it out myself and trimming it myself. Nothing wrong if you have a great white man who knows how to do your hair. Good for you. I just like a stranger, and he's a man, and he's white. That's a lot. For me, that's a lot. That's the next step. So we don't really have the answer for you of where to get your hair done. There are options. The woman who came here and did braids here also did blowouts while she was here and trims. She has a salon in Playa del Carmen, but we haven't found anyone in town that we're like, yes, go to her.
And if you're thinking, okay, well, what about just going to that salon? If you're going to fly, you have to pay for the price of a flight. If you're going to drive, that's a 24-hour drive. So no.
But yeah, so I would definitely go to her. I think in other cities you have better options. Mexico City, for some reason, just doesn't have a lot of options. All right, Queenie, come through. See if the choice, Adalia. Queenie says, "Good to know, but I'm not the only person considering moving to a city that I've never been. Right now, toss up between Mexico City and Guadalajara."
There is no competition. There is no choice. I can't tell you how underwhelmed I was by Guadalajara. I would think the only reason I might choose Guadalajara over Mexico City is if my budget was very rigid and I needed a certain type of apartment at a certain price point. They're going to do better because this is one of the more expensive places to live. But every other aspect of life, including climate and stuff to do and transportation, nah, there's no competition.
If you like cities, there is no city in Mexico. There's no city, I'm going to say this, I'm standing beside it. There's no city in the world that can compare to Mexico City. Nothing. If you like cities. If you don't like big cities, don't come here, right? Like if you were like, I don't like I don't want to be stuck in traffic. I don't like a lot of people around me. I don't like having world-class museums and amazing food. Like if that's not what if you want to look, my mom, and this is not shade. My mom is one of those people. She's like, I just want I want a backyard where I can plant things. The city is not for you, right? Like if you want, like she wants mango trees and all kinds of stuff, and that this is not the city for you. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you like city life, nothing compares to Mexico City. Once you go to other cities and you've been here or you've spent a lot of time here, it's kind of like, what is this? What's happening? What am I supposed to do here? It can be challenging. And we are biased, but we're also honest. Hi, my cousin Hazel's here. Hi, Hazel. Coming to us live from Puerto Rico. All right.
I'm on the troll.
Oh, I missed the troll. Oh, there. I got you. Thank you. D Walker, you said it's 150 for me. What were we talking about?
Hair?
Maybe residency. I don't know who to send you to help for residency in Mexico City. We'll have to be on the hunt for that. Do you know anyone, Adalia, who we trust? Because in a lot of our groups there are people who say they do things, but I'm kind of giving
there is a name that has been here for a long time, and I have seen people say this person helped me, they were great. So there is a name that I would give, but it is not someone I used. So I hesitate to give a name, and it's not somebody I have used personally.
Okay. L. Davis says, I like live music, soul, jazz, blues. Can you get that in Mexico City? What do you say, Adalia?
Yes, but maybe not in the way you think. Like 2 nights ago, there was a musical tribute to Erykah Badu, and it sounded great, but like it wasn't Erykah. The performers were not Black. You can get jazz here. I've heard blues live a couple of times, but so if there's any place in Mexico that you're going to get those things, it would be here.
Okay, I will say that because some cities have, I don't know if they're larger Black populations or more active Black populations, there are places like Playa where the Black people there get together and do kind of like outdoor music things and maybe some indoor music things as well. When that happens in Mexico City, it's a bit of a different vibe. It tends to skew younger, I think, and it tends to skew more clubby than like we're sitting on the beach listening to a live band, or like we're sitting, you know what I mean? Like we're on an outdoor patio listening to a live band. It's more like we're having a house party. That's my impression. I don't know if you disagree with that.
Except like jazz here. Like that's a serious thing, and there are venues specifically for that where the crowd is more mature.
Yes,
that's the word we're going to use.
We'll use that today. I was speaking to your comment about the performers not being Black, a lot of the audience not being Black. You can get music in. No, never mind. I'm not even gonna say that. I'm not even gonna say that when they have house parties, the DJs are Black or most of the party is Black.
Not always.
Most of the party and some of the pictures I see are not Black. Anyway, we are digressing totally. You can get it here, but not maybe to the caliber you're expecting. But if there is, when artists start going on tour again, if they're coming to Mexico, they're coming to Mexico City, right? So it's a good, like if you like live concerts, this is a place to be. More than any, like they have a lot of, when there are concerts, there are things. And there was a jazz fest not long ago, right?
The jazz festival was in December. In November, there was Corona Capital.
Corona, the beer, not Corona. The
Yeah.
virus.
And is it this month? Next month? If you're into salsa, the name is eluding me, but it's a very, very famous salsero who is like, he's retiring, and this is on his farewell tour. There's a big concert here. So yeah, no, anybody who's touring, if they're coming to Mexico, they are probably coming here.
Yeah. Okay, so more questions. Specifically for Adalia, what address did you use for residency when you were living in China?
Well, this was my second time applying for residency, because the first time I did residency through a job offer, and I was already living here, and that was the address that immigration had, and I didn't want to rock the boat, so I just kept using the same address. Even though I did not live here, they're not mailing you anything because they know what the mail system is like here. So once I moved to my current place and I was like, okay, I need to change my address, I updated it. But when I came down here while I was still living in China to process my visa, I used my old address.
Okay, that's helpful. My mom said it was $150 US. The woman came to where she was staying and collected the info, and then that was it. It was less than 30 minutes in the immigration office. I mean, I was there for like 4 hours, and it was stressful. And it was stressful because I had to do the same app like 4 times because they wouldn't accept it the way I did.
And you're doing it all in Spanish. Don't believe anybody who tells you, oh, it's immigration, they're going to speak other languages.
No, they won't.
There's like one guy in the Mexico City office who speaks some English. It's not great.
All right. Abba asked if the woman who does hair can groom locks. Yes, I have seen her doing locks on her IG, which I'll try to look up right now. Adalia, take the wheel.
Okay, I've been thrust into the driver's seat. I'm trying to see the comments, which are not showing up here. So I see Kiki's question. Is there any U.S. city you would compare to Mexico City in terms of traffic, population, and stores? As far as population, there is no comparison. Everybody likes to make a comparison between Mexico City and New York City because that's the closest thing, but it's bigger in terms of geography, in terms of population, and in my opinion, it's better. You can, for as shopping, if you're talking about like clothing and, you know, leather goods and that kind of stuff, you have all of that. But then there is also like, what do you call it when you thrifting? You can do that kind of shopping as well. You can shop on the street, at the market, everything in between. Traffic, it's very hard to compare the traffic here to any place in the world because it's just not like, oh, the drivers are crazy. Like I remember the first time I went to Egypt and they completely ignored the lines. I don't think they even understood why there were lines painted on the road. It's not just that. I like to say that time and space function differently here. It will take you an hour to get almost anywhere if you're not walking and it's around the corner. People get confused because they look on Google Maps and they see, oh, it's just 3 miles away. That shouldn't take me. No, baby. That can take you an hour to get there. Distance, space, time do not function the same here.
And sometimes a place that took you 20 minutes one day can take you an hour and a half the next day. And there's nothing to do about it. Like, it's just, it is what it is. The last time I came home from the airport, not this last time, the last time I came home from the airport, it was like 20 minutes on the dot. The time before that, coming home from the airport, so same direction, it was Adalia, like 2.5 hours. I kept texting Adalia, like, I'm slow the road.
Yes.
I'm slow the road. I'm going through back streets. Like, if you have ever done the drive in Mexico from the airport, I'm doing back streets in like Centro. I've never, what's happening? But the traffic was so bad, they were sending people on these alternate routes and it was a mess. And so 20 minutes, 2.5 hours to go the exact same distance, and you have no control over it. It's one of the reasons that when Adalia and I are meeting each other, we're like, I will meet you there around this time. Like,
Yeah.
I'm aiming for sometime between 5:30 and 6. That's my goal. If I get there at 7, it wasn't because I left my house like 3 hour late. It's because you never know. You just roll with it.
So traffic here is almost ever present. And it's just, especially now that, like people are out and about. And so I've never been any place where traffic was like this. I mean, and the people drive. I've said this repeatedly, there is a reason I don't drive here, because it requires, if you're not from here, I think it requires too much of your brain, because you literally have to anticipate. There could be somebody on your right making a left turn, somebody on your left making a right turn. Just because
At the same time,
that totally can happen.
Yeah.
Just because you have the light, it's been green, does not mean somebody's not going to come across the intersection. And I just would rather not deal with any of that.
It's weird because there's like everyone has like dance, and I hardly ever see any accidents. People who drive here are very used to driving here. People who don't drive here, I always tell you, like, you don't want to drive here. It's not for you. It's, if you have not, no matter where you say you've driven, if you haven't, like, if you didn't grow up driving in Mexico City, don't, if you don't have to. Don't rent a car to drive somewhere else if you have to leave the city in the car. Don't do that. I've started taking the bus a lot more lately, because even though I can get Ubers down here pretty cheap, anywhere I go in an Uber is under $20, typically under 15, usually around 2. My typical Uber ride is around $1.50 or $2. But the bus drivers aren't doing this like crazy, like the bus driver's like, I'm in this lane and I'm driving in this lane. And that's it. I'm not making crazy lefts. I'm not making crazy rights. Like, you don't feel like you're holding on. When I'm in an Uber, I'm in the back seat and I'm like this the whole time on my phone. Looking at my, because I cannot look up and out. I can't look out the window. You can't look ahead, because you're going to see the driver do something and you're going to feel like your life is in danger.
I did that when I came back from the airport this last time. It's like 2 a.m. in the morning. So there's not a lot of traffic. And I happen to look up and I'm like, that light's red. That light's red. Is he going to stop? No, he really didn't. And I was like, see, I shouldn't even be looking.
Mind your business. You got backseat business, and it is not what's going on up there. There's one time in a car, I had to ask the driver, like, are you going to stop at the red lights? And he was like, oh, I don't have to stop at those. I was like, I don't. But when there was a police officer, or there was a police car at one red light, apparently that was the one he had to stop at. The rest that didn't have police officers at them, he was just like, zoom, keep going. And I was like, but I'm not in a rush, baby. Like, I know it's late. It's later when I'm usually out. It's nighttime and there's not a lot of cars on the street, but I'm not in a hurry. But that doesn't matter to you because they're not on your time. Space moves differently too. Like, when something is crowded,
it's not, people think, oh my gosh, 21 million people. It just must be like Mardi Gras all the time. And no, actually, when I go other places, I'm like, where is everybody? Why aren't there more people around? It doesn't function the same, I don't think.
No. It's weird because it feels like there's always someone in the street. I walk at night by myself sometimes. I try not to, but occasionally I do. And there's always other people walking at night. You're never walking down a dark street alone. Like, there's no alone, right? Like, if you don't get mugged in the street, someone else is going to see you because there's no walking alone. Which reminds me, I saw a question. I don't know if it's still there. I saw a question earlier.
Did you post the lady who does braids and locks?
Done. But there was a question in the very beginning, which I must have skipped over, about if we ever. Oh yes, have you had a scare of being kidnapped in Mexico? No. I've never, like, I know one person who was victim of a robbery down here in the 3-ish years that I've been here on and off. And if I think about the people I know in the US who have been robbed or mugged or something, I'm like, it's not any scarier to me. You've muted yourself, Adalia.
I was trying to switch so I wouldn't have the echo.
I guess we got an echo today. It's all right. Can you do the echo cancellation in the settings under your audio?
It should.
Yeah. So I'm not scared. I know that, it is a city where there's high unemployment, labor costs are low, people would be lovely if they got paid more for the work they did. And so I try not to do things like, if I'm taking a picture from inside of a car, like I have my phone up, the car window is up, right? And I'm taking the picture through I'm not putting my phone through a window to take a photo because someone in that street might just like walk by and walk off with it. Like that's what I'd be more scared of than being kidnapped, right? Like it's not. Okay, I think also, there's a level of wealth in Mexico City that people don't appreciate, right? Like if there's going to be a kidnapping in Mexico City, it's us or like the heiress of some Mexican company that is worth like $100 million. Like it's not really, you know what I mean? Like there's a rich upper class here that is big.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think, that's even worse. I think there's a dichotomy. Either they're going to kidnap folks on the high end where they can get some serious money, or they're looking to make quick money where they're going to target somebody who they think the family is going to pay. I don't think we make good targets for that because who are they going to contact to get the money? Like, I don't have people here who can show up with buckets of cash. Right. So I don't think I make a good kidnap target.
No. And like if it's the idea that like your family's going to send money from overseas, like where? Like because in this day and age, you can't send money overseas without verifying IDs. So is the kidnapper going to show up to like Western Union with his ID? Like, give me that cat? Like, it's really not. It's not realistic. And if you expect us to go to our accounts and empty them, you could have $300 in my bank account. Like, I don't keep any money in there. What would we do? You want to drain it? Sure. But like, it's not worth, just walk me to the ATM. It's not worth kidnapping me. And plus, I'd be a terrible hostage. Adalia would be like, I said no cilantro on my tacos. These are onions. Onions are vegetables all the time. Onions are vegetables.
Yes, I had this conversation not too long ago.
Terrible topic. We wouldn't.
No.
All right, let's see where we are. Okay, so Stephanie, I said. Stephanie said Guadalajara is for people who don't like to do things. It's a lot cheaper. That's a great explanation. Guadalajara is for people who don't like to do things. Halisi, if you message me, Halisi, I'll link you and my mom, and you can I'll get that contact information. But my mom said here, Sonia Diaz. If you look up Sonia Diaz in San Miguel de Allende, everybody uses her, so you'll find her. Okay, let's see. Do Mexicans identify as white? Adalia.
Some of them do, yeah. I don't know if it's because in the US we don't like white in America is not white other places. But in Mexico, there are Black Mexicans, there are Chinese Mexicans, there are white Mexicans. So yeah, there are some who are indigenous, there are some who are white, there are some who are mixed. There's the whole range.
There's a whole range. I think Mexicans identify more with class than with ethnicity.
Yeah, like you wouldn't meet somebody and they would say that they are white, but people know they are.
But in some way, they might tell you they're rich. Like in some
Yeah,
way, they might let that slide.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because the identity here, you're Mexican first, and then I think your socioeconomic class falls in, but very much the national identity is like we're all Mexican. We're all
Yes, we're all Mexican, but class and ethnicity have a lot of overlap, like more than anywhere else. No, I wasn't more than anywhere else, but it's very obvious. It's that like
the thing that strikes me here is I get why they don't see race as a big a deal in that hierarchy, because again, after independence and all that, there was very much the pushing of the mestizo narrative. We're all a little mix, we're all mestizo, blah blah blah. But I see the connection between class and skin color. I'm acutely aware of that, and I kind of find it hilarious that they don't see it. But I come from a different experience, so I know that's why I'm more clued into that.
I often wonder if it's they don't see it or they don't want to see it, and I'll never know that answer.
Yeah.
But you spot it real easy. Spot it real easy. So yeah. All right. What other questions? Okay, I think the best way to get an image of the traffic there is to compare it to a major city with an event going on. Yes, and RM
But
said,
every day.
like after a Lakers game at Staples Center. Yes,
But every day.
every day. And some. Okay, so that's the thing. Sometimes you're gonna show up to a place an hour early because there was no traffic.
You just
right.
yeah.
There's not. You never know. And so if you have, when I have reservations at my favorite restaurant that is legitimately 15 minutes away walking and 10 minutes in a car, I leave 30 minutes early. Right? I'm always there on time, but where in the in time scale I am.
If being someplace at an exact time is important, you've got to build in like traffic time, and that is an unknown.
If you can walk, you walk. If you need to be somewhere on time, if you can take the subway, you take the subway.
Yes.
If you're relying on cars to get you somewhere on time,
you need to estimate an hour, and then the other thing is things just sometimes happen. Like I was coming home yesterday and it was a combination of the metro and the trolley bus, but I needed to make the connection very close to downtown. So a lot of times they arbitrarily close that street. So I'm sitting there waiting. Some other people, we're all looking like, have y'all seen a trolley bus? And then I figured out, oh, they've closed this street. I need to walk half a mile to down where the trolley buses are coming back. And then I still waited 20 minutes and thought, well, maybe I'm just walking home tonight.
She's not. That's not a walk you can do. I'm gonna tell you that.
I mean, it was a good hour walk, but I really didn't want to make it. But eventually, arbitrary street closures. That's part of everyday life.
So Mexico City does work better for people who don't have to be in the city, right? Like we go out when we choose to. I get to choose my schedule and do what I build my schedule around what I want to do. I don't. The other day I had to do something, and it was like 5 o'clock, and I was like, "Oh, I won't be doing that at 5 p.m." Nah, I'm gonna stay in the house. I was gonna take a bus somewhere. I know what it was. I didn't go out do it at all. But at 5 o'clock, I was like, "This feels like a terrible idea."
Yeah, taking a bus that time.
You got on a bus at 5 o'clock.
I mean, When I used to work here, I worked in the south of the city and I lived in the north. It was an hour and a half on the metro bus each way.
Mhm.
And I had to, sometimes I had to leave 2 hours before I needed to get there because I needed to be at a place at a specific time. Not having to be somewhere at a specific time works much better here.
Yeah. A couple questions about, I'm gonna call them both about weather. So one is, what's the best time of year to relocate to Mexico City? And two, what's the temperature there? I didn't imagine needing a sweater in Mexico City. Take it away, Adalia.
I believe it is 56 degrees right now, if my computer is to be believed. I think the high today is supposed to be 70 something. You always need a sweater in Mexico City year round.
Year round.
Year round.
Year round.
The elevation here is more than 7,000 feet above sea level. As you increase elevation every 1,000 feet, temperature drops 3.5 degrees. So you always need a sweater here.
Can we pause about the random shit that goes through, but Adalia keeps in her head? Like, who else who's watching this right now would be able to be like, yes, every 1,000 feet. Like, who has this in their head? I don't. But Adalia keeps them. It's the teacher in her. She keeps some random shit in that head of hers.
There is not, I don't think, a particular time of year that's better or worse, because for the most part, weather is the same year round. It gets slightly warmer in May. May I consider to be hot because it'll be a whopping 85 degrees. And I forget how to act. And then during the rainy season, it typically rains a couple of hours at night. It doesn't rain during the day. So there's not a whole lot of variation from one season to the other, but you always gonna need a sweater. That's a given.
Yes. Layers are good. Think of, if you're familiar with San Francisco's weather, it's a bit like that, where it's like, you step in the sun, you're warm. You step in the shade, you're cold. I hope you have a layer. Like, I hope you brought a layer with you, because you're gonna need it. You don't need, I do have a parka, but it's not because of living here. But you don't need a heavy coat here. Like, it's very rarely under 40. And it's very rarely over, like very rarely over 90.
I don't know. It's never been over 90 when I've been here.
So one of the things I both like about it is that it doesn't have the extreme weather.
And there's no humidity. So it's not 85 and humid in May. No.
No. It's not 85, but it feels like 97. It's not doing that to you. Now it's gonna rain, and the rain is gonna make it a little bit humid in the summertime, but not a lot. Not like the beach cities. Is that Mia?
No, that's some other random dog.
Oh, okay.
Mia's sitting in the sun.
Okay. Did we talk, y'all? Did I tell you about how Mia disrespected me? And then she came back again and disrespected me again. It's fine. No, it's not fine. It's not fine. Let me tell y'all the story. Mia came, Adelia's dog, Mia, we're a fan of her over here. Everyone loves Mia. Mia came to my house and ran around looking for somebody else. Mia was like, you can't be the only one here. Like, where are, it's you? Mia ran around like, you. And Adalia knew that's what it was too. Mia was looking to see who else was in here, because she wasn't. It hurt my feelings, y'all. I cried a little bit. A little half tear came out. It hurts. It hurts being rejected by a dog you love. Woo. Okay. All right. Now that
I think someone had asked a question about Mexico City being dog friendly, and yes, it is very dog friendly. I think it's different than other parts of Mexico in that, like, stray dogs are an anomaly here. If you see a dog without a human, wait a few seconds. They're probably on a walk, and the human is coming behind the dog, because it's very common for them to be off leash. My dog is not Mexican. And someone who dog sat her said it's so obvious she's not a Mexican dog because she doesn't know how to carry herself properly in the streets. But yeah, like stray dogs are not a thing here. Lots of restaurants and places let you take the dog. I was on the Metro bus yesterday, and on the screen it was a reminder like, oh, your animal's supposed to be in a kennel. What did I get? I rode some form of public transportation earlier this week, and this woman had a cat in her arms. It was not in anything. The cat was just out looking, and I was like, yep, that's Mexico City.
Yeah. Yeah. I was at a department store last year, and there was a dog, no leash, nothing, just sitting at the door looking at the entrance like, Mommy said I can't go inside, so I'm going to sit right here and wait for her to come back. And like the security guards were there. No one was tripping. It was just like, it's a dog. Like the dog has a person. The dog knows to wait for the person. The dog doesn't need a leash because it's not going anywhere. It's weird. I've never seen, there's not a lot of barking unless like random dogs run up on each other. Like you can hear barking from the dog park below my building every once in a while when like dogs are like, hey, I don't know you, let's sniff butts, right? But there's not like they're very well behaved in general, and they like don't bark at you on the street or growl at you. They're just like, it's my town. What's up? Welcome. Yeah. So that's nice. Let's see. Stephanie says, yes, you take your dog inside the restaurant. People take their dogs inside restaurants. It's very rare that you see a poorly behaved dog inside a restaurant. We saw one the other day. They had two dogs at the same table, and one of them was like, this table is built for one. But other than that, like, it didn't like disturb anybody outside of his own table. And then Adalia and I were at a coffee shop one day, and there was a dog, and we were like, you know better than to have this dog in public. Like, this is not an outside dog. This is an in the house dog. But it's rare. Let's see. There was a conversation in the comments about green spaces. There are a lot of parks. There are a lot of parks in Mexico City, big parks, beautiful parks. If you want to be in a new park, maybe even in your own neighborhood every day, you could do that, right? Like lots of parks. Are you going to get a place with a courtyard with your own green space? Not in most neighborhoods. There are some neighborhoods. There are some neighborhoods a little further out where you can start getting that, but not.
You're going to pay a premium for that.
You're going to pay a premium for that. Houses are more expensive than apartments here.
Significantly more expensive.
Like who? Because of the difference in cultures, I think that there's a Mexican tradition of living at home. And so families live together longer. And so having space for families to live together, you pay a premium for that. Mia is rude. Rude.
And the thing is, she walked into the kitchen, she looked around, and but when she walked back, her head's down, like, I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm doing it anyway.
That's rude, child. Ooh, okay, what else do we have in the comments? Are you experiencing climate change in Mexico City? Has there been more earthquakes, longer rainy seasons?
You know what I think? This is I attribute it to climate change. It has rained a couple of times this month. It should not be raining in January. Mm-hmm. And it's not a lot. Mm-hmm. It's like 10, 15 minutes. But yeah. It shouldn't be raining.
Mm-hmm. But okay, about the earthquakes, to be fair, Mexico City is built on a lake and Aztec dreams. Like it's truly like there's no foundation here. There's no like.
You have to go very far south and southeast where you can get out of the lake bed and things don't move as much. But remember that the country of Mexico, has tectonic plate boundaries on both sides of it. Mm-hmm. I was impressed that there was an earthquake warning system, like that there's an alarm that often goes off to let you know that, hey, you got about 30 seconds before there's an earthquake.
I grew up in Southern California, so earthquakes for me are kind of like, nah. I have had one earthquake here where I was like, I can't man my way through this one. Like this is a big deal. I still don't go outside because they have a system where like you go outside, you go to your meeting place, whatever. I was like, I'm not climbing down all those stairs and then up all those stairs. Like that's just not. I was in bed already. I wasn't doing all that. The building didn't even sway. Like there was a weird noise that sounded like maybe some pipes creaking, but the building like a little bit of this, but it didn't do this. Like if it was doing this, I would have been like, it's time to get out. It didn't do this. Yeah, you should not move to Mexico City if the thought of an earthquake is terrifying to you. Yeah. I think a lot of times people think earthquakes are terrifying and then they experience one and they're like, oh, that's what it is? Because most times when there's an earthquake, you don't even feel it. You're like, oh, go ahead. If even the thought of one is scary to you, neither one of us is going to tell you that you're not going to experience one. You're going to experience one.
Yeah.
It's just
in the first 3 weeks I was here, there were two, one of which was the big one on September 19th, 2017. And I had never experienced an earthquake before. And I was like, okay, so now I know what to expect. And you just go on with life.
Yeah. You pack a go bag in case you need it. I don't really keep it packed. I keep snacks in different places in my apartment. I don't actually have a go bag.
I do have a go bag.
I have snack corners
by the door. I hope the stuff that's in it will be useful if I need it. But that's as much thought as I give to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's not much you can do with earthquakes. It's fine. Monique is here for a couple of weeks taking daily Spanish classes, job free. Yay! I was telling Adalia the other day that I've been back in Mexico since January 1st, and I've left my apartment twice. And one was truly just to hop on the bus, go pick up my computer at the Apple Store, and come right back home. So I have not been going out and seeing people. So meeting up in this time of Omicron is hard for me, but maybe we can make something happen. I don't know. Is Mexico City disability friendly for people who use wheelchairs, curb cuts, ramps, courtesy?
Okay, we'll start with the good part. If you have mobility issues and you are taking public transit, the people standing at the stop will assist you. The people like outside the bus, I was riding the trolley bus and I didn't even know how the ramp worked. But other people were like telling the driver, you need to lower the bus because we need to put out the ramp. And then the people on the bus let the ramp out so the person could wheel off. In subway stations, there are the grooves in the floor for the people who walk with canes so they can follow them up to the stop.
And some sidewalks too.
And some sidewalks. I see people who will see someone who is visually impaired walking through the subway station and they will come up and help guide them upstairs. So as far as people helping you, yes.
And that is one of Mexico City's best offerings, the people here. All right, as far as infrastructure, child, there are, okay, it depends on the neighborhood you're in. Some neighborhoods, in my neighborhood, there is a specific street where there is a curb cut on one side and nothing on the other side. How does that? It's like y'all tried, but you didn't think this through. Or at some point, one of those was replaced and they either replaced it right or they replaced it wrong. And it's just whatever it is. In a lot of neighborhoods, the trees are growing up through the sidewalks in such a way that it's hard to walk past it, much less if you have, it's hard to walk past it without mobility issues. So if you have mobility issues or if you're in a wheelchair, it can be a problem. It's not, I think you can build a life around it, right? I think if you choose the right neighborhoods, and that might really just be like the Reforma area. I don't know. Maybe Juarez?
I don't know. Because see, even new buildings. Like think about your building. How would somebody in a wheelchair get into your building?
There's that ramp around on the side.
Okay. In
There's
my
a
build
ramp.
in my building, there is someone with a
Yeah.
wheelchair, but their family has to they take the elevator to the garage and then the garage out because the entrance to the building you have to go upstairs. So many buildings, new buildings are like that, or the entrance is you have to go down some stairs to get into the building. So that is a struggle. That is one
Right.
thing that is not done very well here.
I think it can be done, but it has to be. You need someone to scout for you. You can't just move here. You need someone to scout for you a neighborhood and specific buildings. It's not the easiest city. I don't know that a lot of cities beside America has the ADA going for it, right? It does require some work from builders. And here, like I said, my building has a ramp. It's not the best ramp. It's not even like it's well built, but it's not well placed. Like your walk is a lot longer when you're using the ramp because it's all the way on the side of the street. You know where the back street is, Adalia? It's all the way over there, and you got to use it up. So anyway, it's not ideal, but there's a way in. But there are, like to Adalia's point, there are some buildings you can't get in. There are some sidewalks that would be like bad. But there's something, and I don't know what it is about. I don't know if it's because of the mobility difficulties and the infrastructure, or because of something in like the family culture here. But I don't see a lot of people with mobility issues out and about.
I see blind people more than I see people with walkers and wheelchairs.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Curious. Let's see. Townhouses a thing in Mexico City? Are townhouses a thing anywhere? Townhouses.
Kinda. There's some in my neighborhood, but well, like when I took Mia out this morning, I noticed this building, which I thought was one, but they're identical. But one side was freshly painted and the other side was not. So I was like, oh, that's kind of like a townhouse. I think maybe like in more like new development, kind of suburban, probably you might find that.
Mm-hmm.
People tend to live in apartment buildings of varying size here.
Yes. Yes. Someone asked, can you feel the effects of the city sinking?
No, I can't feel it. It's
You can
very
see
slow.
it.
You can see it.
You see it.
And really, the goal is now what I learned from a tour we took downtown. The goal really isn't to stop the sinking because that's not possible. It's more about making sure all of the buildings sinks at the same rate.
All of the buildings in like all the attached, but like there's be a stretch of attached buildings, and one is built on a different foundation than the one next to it, and so it's sinking. It's like boop boop boop, which means they share a roof. So this roof is now cracking, right? The roof in between them is cracking. So there are issues, which is one of the reasons people are like, when are you going to buy a place down there? I'm like, no, I won't be doing that. If you come down here and see it, you can see that there are, you can see it in the buildings here, visibly the impact of the city sinking. And it's a slow process, but like,
and it's more downtown is like where the lake used to be. So
yeah.
that's where it's more of an issue.
Is that a siren or a
Yeah,
okay.
That's a siren. Remember, I live across the street from a fire station and a police station.
I didn't know there was a police station over there. Is it in the same place as the
It's literally next to the fire station on the other side of it.
I didn't know. Okay. All right. Any recommendations for Spanish classes, tutor / I'm doing a month-long trip in July for real this time. What would you say, Adalia?
Do they want to take Spanish classes while they're here, or are they taking classes in anticipation of being here?
Alicia, let us know. I don't know. Stephanie pointed out that the people of Mexico are also very kind to seniors. They're very kind to seniors. They're very kind to foreigners, kinder than they actually should be, and they're very kind to each other. You know, it's a very loving country. Let's see. I said that we were going to talk about dating in this video.
I was about to say, like, oh, can we compare to like what we were doing this time last year to what we're doing this time now? I was not going to go toward dating.
Okay, we can do both, but let's okay. Y'all will remind us. We'll pick up dating later. Remind us so I don't forget. What were we doing last year versus what we're doing this year? Besides hope. Besides having some hope.
Because I really am saddened by the fact of how much last January resembles this January.
Yeah.
You know, last year
I didn't leave the house. I didn't leave the house. This year I'm like, unless I have to be somewhere, I'm not going outside.
The big difference is we are making a choice, and the rest of the world is doing their own thing. Last year it wasn't a choice.
No,
we
were
in lockdown. We were in red. We go to yellow on Monday, and when I told someone that, they were like, "Okay, so what does that mean?" And I was like, "Nothing. Nothing's going to change."
Okay. So last year in January, they were still using a stoplight system. It's red, yellow, orange, red, orange, yellow, green. They're using a stoplight system that was reflective of the amount of space, amount of hospital beds available.
That was one of the things that factored in. I think the positivity rate on tests also factored in, but hospital occupation was a big part of that.
So now, about, I would say March, they were like, you know what? Like, folks got to earn some money. So we're going to ease up a bit. And so I would say that since then, the stoplight system, they still change what color of a light is, but the reflected meaning is, who knows?
Yeah. Maybe it's just like for your personal information. Just know things are not as great as they were before. Make your own adjustments. There's no official adjustments.
Were we green and we're going to yellow?
Yeah, we've been green for 6.5 months. And there had been conversation about we should have been yellow a few weeks ago.
Well, I thought we were going from orange to yellow. I didn't realize we were going.
We've been green.
The way people are lined up for COVID tests outside, we are not green.
No, and that's what they kept telling she's not the mayor because we don't have a mayor. She's the boss of the city, boss of the government. They kept telling her, like, you need to change it. Look at all these people in line. Look at these hospitals. These public hospitals are full. And she was like, no, we're vaccinated. We're good. And she's not happy about us going to yellow on Monday. But
we should have been orange. We probably should have been orange. We probably should have been yellow, and now we're going to orange. I can't even believe that we were green. Like, the government's pretty much telling you, if you think you have COVID, you have COVID. Like, don't bother getting tested. We don't have the test for you, right? Like, stay home. If you think you're sick, stay home, because the testing sites are overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Getting a test, if you need to get a PCR test to go anywhere from here, good luck, God bless.
Make an appointment several days in advance.
Hope you get it when they say you're going to get it, right? Like, it's a mess. Antigen tests. I think honestly, right now, I think your best chance of getting an antigen test is having an appointment. If you think you're sick, you're almost out of luck because you need an appointment to get it, right? So that, or going to the airport. I think in most cities right now, going to the airport is probably your best bet. And if you need one, like, on the spot, if you think you're sick. But if you think you're sick, then you got to, like, get in a car and go to the airport and see all those people. And you're sick. You don't want to do all that. But getting it done at a testing site because you think you're sick, it's not realistic right now. It's not.
So yeah, it's feeling very much like January 2021 around here.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like the Twilight Zone. It is Groundhog Day. Like
Very
last
much.
January and February, I think we saw each other maybe once or twice in the first 2 months of the year, and then we ate together in
No.
March, or did we not see
We
each
didn't
other
see each other in person
until March?
until March.
Until March, yeah. And I've seen her once this year. We don't live that far away, y'all. I talk about how she lives out in the boonies, but it's not really that far away. We have not seen each other. So people have said like, "Hey, can we get together?" I'm like, if I haven't seen Adalia, who is not that far away, like we're probably not. Like I, the city doesn't feel as safe as it used to. Like last fall, it felt much safer than it feels now.
Locals are still wearing masks. We're
Yeah.
still using gel.
Yeah.
But this has become an attractive destination for people who believe the pandemic is over. And those people are making my life difficult.
Yes. If you go to any tourist places, you won't see a lot of mask usage. And it's the tourists who aren't wearing masks. Generally, Mexicans that you see working can't afford to get sick, right? Like they need to show up to work because they need to get paid. And so they have pretty high mask usage. It's the people who are like, it's all good. What could go wrong? That are spreading it down here. Something going on over there?
I think the person above me is practicing the tuba.
Oh, that's fun.
There's some kind of musical instrument happening upstairs.
Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, the update, one of the updates is that we may be in like a January holding pattern the way we were last year, and maybe we're going to be next year. I don't know. Mexico City has a high vaccination rate.
That's what they say. They are rolling out boosters. I just got a targeted Facebook ad to my Alcadia telling me that, hey, if you are 50 to 59, you can go get your booster. Yeah, that's what they say.
They say it's like in the 90% of people being vaccinated, right? Like 95, I think is what I heard.
Yeah.
95% of people eligible for the vaccine have been vaccinated.
That's what they say.
But we don't believe anything they say. So, but it's because there's so many people here and people are so close, like the spread, it's easy to spread here. It's very, very easy to spread here. A lot of people live together, right? There's a lot of communal living. There's a lot of communal eating. The taco trucks on the street, the tortas, the sushi places on my block, they aren't empty. They're open. The juice stands. Like I've talked about this before. You go down to the street and there are 5 people who don't live in the same household, sitting in every available space around the taco place eating. And there's only like 6 inches between their mouths. Like their head, you know what I mean? Like their heads are down, they're in there tight. It's easy to spread down here, which is one of the reasons I'm staying out of the streets, because with Omicron going around and being extra easy. And the mask usage down here, there's not a lot of N95s or KN95s being used, I would say.
I don't know. I feel like I've seen more of them than I have.
Okay.
I'm not going to necessarily say that's the majority, but I feel like, but it might be one of those things like when you start looking for a car and all of a sudden you start seeing that car around. It might be one of those things, but I feel like I've seen more.
I was definitely seeing a lot of cloth masks, but you might have seen something different.
Did Alicia, pardon, say when she was looking to take lessons?
Okay. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Yes, she did. Spanish class tutor, anticipation of being here and while doing my month-long tryout. I am taking Spanish classes in February at UNAM. I think I need to make sure I can still sign up.
Oh.
Not at the place, but
Oh,
online.
online?
Yes, through the college, but online.
I will say their face-to-face program is really good, but it requires a great time investment. So I wouldn't do that if I was here visiting because it's going to eat up so much of your time.
It's like 4 to 6 hours a day in person, right? Something crazy. How many hours a day is it?
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 hours,
Yeah.
5 days a week. It was a lot. I dropped a link to my Spanish teacher. She is non-Mexican, so I will add that disclaimer. But if you want to take lessons in preparation, she also does not speak a lot of English. So you're going to flex those Spanish skills.
Mm-hmm. All right. Stephanie says it took her 4 PCR appointments in Mexico City to get her flight out.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Ethel asked if we can bring at-home test with us from the state. Yes. If you can bring an at-home test, if you have an at-home test that you're both the airline and the U.S. accept, bring it with you because shenanigans down here. No matter where you're going, if you can bring home tests with you, bring them.
The home tests that are suitable for entry.
Yes.
Okay, my electricity just blinked.
Mine was doing that yesterday. So that's a good point. My electricity blinked, but it never went out yesterday. So the utilities here are very stable. I paid my electric bill last month when I got back. No, early January. It was for December and November, and it was or November. I don't know. It was for 2 months. It's 2 months, and it was under $10. My water bill is under $2. My gas bill, I think, is under 10. Utilities here are really cheap. That's one of the nice things about being here. My Netflix bill is $25. I'm sorry, my internet bill, which includes a home phone number and Netflix, is $25. You know, it's not bad. All right. Outside of buying good sheets, how was shopping to furnish your home's apartment? It's not easy. There's an IKEA here. There are markets that sell like nice used furniture. I think I'm gonna get something. I can build the courage to go outside to an outside market where there are a lot of people. I was talking to Adalia the other day, like between IKEA and this market, which one do you think is more likely to give you the COVID? Which is truly at this point where we are.
Yeah.
Like the outside market with a lot of people or the inside furniture store with a lot of people. Let's see. But Mexicans have a different tolerance for comfort than I think a lot of Americans have. The big plush furniture that a lot of us are used to in the States, you're only going to find at stores that are in the States. Like there's a Pottery Barn in Mexico City. There is a Williams Sonoma. There's all of the big store. There's a West Elm. All of the big stores, US furniture stores, like the chains, are here, right? You can buy the big plush couch in not Crate and Barrel, but the other one. That is really West Elm. Is it Pottery Barn?
I don't know.
It is Pottery Barn. It is Pottery Barn. So Pottery Barn, you can buy the couch, but they're charging US prices plus, right? Like I went in there, I saw a couch price, and I was like, we're gonna act like this is perfectly normal? We're act like this is just normal.
I wouldn't say it's difficult, but the process is different.
Yes.
Than what, like, we don't have Target. So there's not one place you walk in and you can get all these things from your list. No, you have to go to individual stores.
I don't have bedside tables or table lamps anywhere in my home or floor lamps because when I went furniture shopping, I was like, give me a bed and a couch and another bed for the guest bedroom. Anything more than that, I bought a desk off of Amazon and a chair. Anything more than that, I was like, it's gonna take time to like get it together and do things. And I just haven't been putting forth that effort. There's no like furniture mart, if that makes sense. There are a lot of stores that sell furniture. I found both beds and couches to be terribly uncomfortable. A lot of Airbnb, if you come down here and rent Airbnbs, you're going to see that like there's a difference in the furniture. It's not, it doesn't feel, I like the texture. Texture of things is very important to me. And
my approach was, let me buy what I can before we go into lockdown. So I got some stuff off of Facebook, expat groups, like, because there are so many people here, there's always new people coming into the city and people leaving. So somebody was like, hey, I'm leaving and I'm selling all of my stuff. So I picked up a coffee table and a sofa. Everything else, pretty much, I found a way to buy online, so I wouldn't have to figure out how to get it here. Yeah, I'm really looking to see, is there anything else I physically went and bought? Yeah, I did very little of that because we were in the middle of a pandemic. Yeah. But the way things are set up here, you're really intended to go somewhere and look and browse. Online shopping is a little different for household goods.
Yes, the way the used furniture market that I was talking about works here, they have like beautiful, either true 60s stuff or reproduction stuff that is like, no, I was in the market, we did a food tour and we went to the market next door and then we went to this furniture, it's furniture and other things there. And Adalia kept having to be like, come on, like get out of that man's chair. And then I'd be like, I know it looks good, and this is finally a comfortable chair, but where are you gonna put that? What you gonna like? Come on. She kept because I kept stopping it. All they had gorgeous things,
gorgeous stuff, but none of them are online.
No,
you have to physically go.
You have to physically go. You pay them. I think the way it sounds like it works is you pay them for the furniture, and you can pay them to deliver it for you. So you just give them money and walk away and hope the furniture shows up at your house. And I'm like, am I there with my level of trust yet with strangers? I don't know, but I think I have. Like I know there are things I want at that market, so I think I'm gonna try it out and see how it works. But yes, I was like, well, how do we get the furniture home? And our host for the tour was like, you just pay them and they'll drop it off for you. So I just give this person money and walk away with nothing. And it's not like a permanent place of stands. It's just,
No, it is not, because it's only there one day a week.
Correct. It's there one day a week. It's a street market. You could probably go back and yell at this person if you can find them again. But if they're taking your money and running, they're probably not going to be back there the next week. So, but that is the system. That's how a local told me it works. A local I trust tells me it works. So I guess that's the system here. You give them money and your furniture shows up at your home,
or you pay somebody to make it.
And you've done that, right?
Yes, because when I moved here, IKEA would have been really nice to just order these things online and have them delivered, but IKEA did not have their stuff together. And I had no idea when they were going to get together, and I needed a desk. So I had somebody give me a referral. I sent them a picture and they were like, okay, I can make that for you. Give me 2.5 weeks. And then their dad brought the desk to my house.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. What is your favorite thing about living in Mexico as a Black person?
The freedom of it.
No one ever asks me if I belong. Like, are you supposed to be here? No one ever like tries to close a door on me so I can't like come in behind them. People are like opening doors. Like I've been in places where I'm not supposed to be in here right now. But like the person behind me like went out of their way to hold the door open for me so I could come in too. Yes, neither one of us looks particularly Mexican, right? But people don't think they have a right to ask us what we're doing here. They don't have a right to tell us we don't belong. And the people are really nice. Like generally, like I'll go somewhere and like if I'm in a very local neighborhood, I don't look very local. Like I'm not even gonna pretend, right? Like I don't look very local. Um, People will look, but it's more of like a, huh, okay. Like there's nobody staring, nobody's pointing. I've been in countries where people are like pointing and laughing and like having conversations.
Nobody's clutching their bags.
Nobody's touching their bags. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that we're here. Generally, like that's how I feel. Like I can go anywhere in the city from like neighborhoods that like an Airbnb host was like, you're going there to like really like I can walk into any designer high-end store here and nobody responds to me in a negative fashion, no matter where I go. It's like you're allowed to just be you and be anywhere. And I recognize that that is an American privilege, right? Like it's not just that they don't care about Black people, because I think that's a very complicated issue. I think that being identified generally as a Black American um, gives you being identified generally as an American, because once you leave the U.S., you're typically from the country. You are the country you come from in a lot of places, and this is one of those places. Being identified as an American gives you the privilege of being like no one really bothering you, like no one caring where you go, no people being nice, right? And not because they're like trying to get something from you, just because like they're nice people. It just feels good.
I feel like as a Black American, I kind of get this extra, I'm in this extra category. Like, I don't necessarily catch the negatives that the gringos get because I don't feel like I get put into that category.
Okay. So I see the gringos talking in groups, right? About all of the terrible things that have happened to them. Um, but I wonder if they're really, and I don't want to negate anyone's experience, but I wonder if this is just their reaction to not being on a pedestal, right? To not being the top of the food chain. Like if you are not the master of your domain, does it now feel like oppression, right? Like, and so I don't know that I'm being treated better than they am. I just don't know if they're used to being treated like a regular person, right? Like you are not the king of this hill. And so, what also, there are a lot of, I think class comes into this a lot. There are a lot of Americans who come down here and think that American money should give them privilege, but they're not rich by Mexican standards, right? And so they complain about things like, they complain about a variety of things that money could carve them out. Like you wouldn't have this problem if you had more money, like not being able to get a residency visa. Like I don't understand why I can't be down here as long as I want on any. I have a blue passport. Like why can't I just live here? Like what's the problem? It feels like it sounds like they're being oppressed, but it's truly like you just have to follow other people's rules when you're in their country, and they don't like. They make it sound like they're being oppressed. Like I cannot believe that I only got 10 days when I tried to enter the country. I should be allowed to get 180. And you hear it from people from different places. But that's why I'm like, are we being treated better, or are we used to being treated so poorly?
Oh,
like,
I think that's definitely right. It. Because as like you're talking about the people not understanding that they did not automatically get 180 days, or people being like, you know, the cops tried to do this to me. And I will own, being a Black person in America, you are used to the system not supporting you. You are used to the system mistreating you. So when I come here, I don't have these expectations that they have of how the red carpet should be rolled out for me. So I can handle whatever adversity that might exist here for me. I handle it a whole lot better than they do because my expectations are different.
In a group I was in a Mexico City group, someone was talking about how the cops shook them down. They made some mistakes along the way. I'm not victim blaming, but they made some mistakes, like walking off into leaving the brightly lit street and walking off into a dark corner with police officers, which I, as a Black American, would be much less likely to do. Like, whatever we gonna do, we doing it right here. Loud voices and right here on brightly lit street, right? Because these are not police officers who are holding guns on you. These are police officers asking you to walk with them into a dark corner. No, baby. Like, no. You have to tase me first. Like, whatever you're doing, you got to do it right here. But someone else made a comment that the police never take it. I've never heard a report in Mexico City, and I don't think in any other cities. It may happen. I haven't heard it of police actually robbing people. I've heard of police asking for money, maybe even demanding money, and people giving it to them. Yes. So someone was talking about their experience of the police asking them for money, and they gave them money. This was not a Black person. And they were like, and then I went to the police station to report it, and they wouldn't let me report it. And they were so appalled by that. And I was like, maybe being Black, I'm just like, but you're alive, right? It wasn't your life savings. Like, they're taking like
less than $20 sometimes.
Less than $20. Sometimes it's $50. I think the most I've heard is like 100. I'm sure. So, yeah. The person who was complaining about it this time, who spent 4 hours making a report, it was $75. It was two of them, and they took $75 from the two of them, and they went to file a report. It's not life-changing money from the person they're taking it from. I'm not saying this makes it okay. It doesn't make it okay. It's also never happened to me. It hasn't happened to Adalia. But the fact that the woman was like, I just can't believe they wouldn't take a police report on this. I'm like,
no, that's very much where my experience as a Black American is like, I wouldn't even have that expectation.
But you're alive though. Like,
yeah, you're alive. They got you for some money and you are alive.
And you went home.
And that shows the difference in the experience. Right. So if maybe I was not a Black person in the United States first before coming here, my outlook might be a little different.
Yes. All right. I am trying to catch up with the comments, but I'm way behind. Let's see. So, Adalia, someone asked about chemtrails. They're spraying heavily in the U.S. I don't
even know what chemtrails are.
And I don't have any information on the topic, so. You guys keep it. Arnell says yes for Pottery Barn and Williams-Sonoma. They're, as far as I know, only in Mexico City. They might be maybe in one other city, so they're not everywhere.
Because remember, y'all, stores like that are not here for foreigners. They're here for really wealthy Mexicans.
Oh, you think they're here for really wealthy Mexicans and not foreigners?
Who else can afford that stuff?
We know foreigners who can afford that stuff.
Yes, the foreigners benefit from it. But
yes.
Who's in there dropping money like that? It's the very wealthy Mexicans.
You know, when I went there are places that, you know, cater to Americans because there's a lot of English, or they cater to tourists because there's a lot of English speaking. When I went in Pottery Barn, no one spoke English. When I went in West Elm, there was one guy who spoke English. Everybody else spoke Spanish. So I think you're right. You're right. They're catered to very well. Y'all, Minnesota's like the Ferrari dealership, and all the, like the Lamborghini, and all the other like high-end things here are for the really rich Mexicans that people seem to forget exist, but they're here. One of you, won't you take me out? One of you kind, not cartel related, really rich Mexicans. Hi. Okay, that's as far as I go with the dating story. That's it. It's over. FDM says, weirdly, the only place I recall walking in several very high-end stores and being welcomed was Las Vegas. I guess they were just used to treating everyone well because you never know. Mexico City will be like, they will pour out the red carpet for you in high-end stores. Like you're here, you're American, and you're walking into the store, they just assume you have the money. I think
that's the thing. as opposed to the assumption being you couldn't possibly have the money.
Mm-mm.
The assumption is, sure, you're coming in here, you must have the money.
You have the money. You're not here to waste my time. Dear, you have the money. Come through. What you want to buy? Corrupt police targeting foreigners. It happens, but I don't know. It doesn't happen as much as I would say. It doesn't happen as much as we're supposed to be led to believe it happens. It happens in the groups. In Mexico City, I've only heard white people paying. I've only heard non-Black people paying police. I don't know, Adalia, if you've heard of Black people in Mexico.
No, and I noticed the stories are all strikingly similar. It was 2 a.m. and I just left this bar.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's 2 a.m.
It's 2 a.m. I had been engaged in imbibing alcohol, and that often gives these cops that want to shake them down the door to open.
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard of anybody just going about their everyday life and a cop cornering them and trying to shake them down.
Mm-mm. No. And it's going out and coming home at 2 a.m. can be a part of your everyday life. We're not saying the person did anything wrong. We're just saying that, like, you may not have your wits about you and you may walk into a dark corner. The thing about the guy who him and his friend walked in a dark corner with the police, they were on a crowded street that was covered by cameras, and the police walked them across the street into a park, into a dark part that did not have any camera coverage. So when the police try to walk you somewhere, no, baby, whatever we're doing.
Maybe they don't have like survival skills. I don't know, y'all.
I'm not going to a dark corner with nobody. For what? Like, if you're going to shoot me here, right here. If you're going to mug me, we're doing it right. I'm not going.
So the stories are they have a very similar outline to them.
Yes. The people also, I never hear they had their guns out. They may have had guns. They were holstered, right? I've never heard this happening at gunpoint. I hear it happening like the police are like, the last story I heard, the guy was coming up at 2 a.m. His friend was like dancing in the street, and the cops were like, well, you guys must be high, right?
Yes. That I hear a lot. And not to victim blame, but the people who this is happening to, they're doing something that these bad cops can see as an opportunity, like, oh, we can stop them for that. Because if you can't be, public drunkenness is against the law here. So if they saw you leaving a club, or you had a bottle in your hand, or you're dancing in the street, well, you've given them the opening to stop you for that.
The police have never stopped me here for anything. In fact, when I'm like, hey, I need help, sometimes they're like, yeah, girl. Yeah, I was just chilling, trying to do nothing. And here you come with your Spanglish. What is this? So it's not a fear I have. And I'm not saying that because I don't think it can happen to me. It's because, like, if I'm leaving a club, I'm getting directly into an Uber. I'm also not in a club because, COVID. But if I'm leaving a club, I'm getting directly into a car. Like, there's no conversation on the street. We're done.
I do consider it when I go out somewhere. But I do this is across the board, be it for cops who want to shake me down or people who want to mug me. I think about how much cash am I carrying it? Where am I carrying it? And I don't do things like walk around with my ATM card. Because can't nobody make you drain your bank account if you don't have an ATM card.
I walk around with my ATM card. Truly, I'm not going to the ATM with you. Like, you're not. Oprah said, I was like in 7th grade, I think. And Oprah said, don't ever let somebody take you to the second location. We are not going to the second location. If you want the cash I have on me, cool. If you want my ATM card, cool. I'm not going to the ATM with you. I'm sitting down right here. If you're going to put me in the back of your cop car, cool. You're going to arrest me? Cool.
That's the other thing. A lot of the people in these stories who capitulate often don't want to be inconvenienced because we're going to arrest you or you could pay us. And my plan is already, okay, we're going to go to the police station because I know when we get to the police station, ain't nobody going to deal with me.
You gonna write paperwork for what?
Yeah.
What are you arresting me for? What? Because I didn't pay you? Because that's true. What are we doing? No. I'm very stubborn, but I'm also like, no, we're not. I'm not moving from one location to the next. If you want I'm not going to give you all the money in my purse. You're gonna have to steal it. You're gonna have to actually put your hand in there to get it. Truly. Because if I've done nothing, even if I've done something like they could stop you for jaywalking and demand money. Even if I'm jaywalking, I'm not giving you money. Go to hell. Like, we're not doing this. I don't want, not victim blaming. I don't want to be someone who encourages that behavior by rewarding it. So no. Someone said, I got hit up by 2 police officers for that, taking a walk at 2 a.m. in Parque España in Roma. The 2 a.m. part is the recipe. Yeah. So it is.
Because I also don't think that locals walk down random streets at 2 a.m. Because if they're on the high end of the socioeconomic scale, their driver was waiting outside the party for them. If they are at the lower end, it's probably at a house party. Or it's at the cantina that's 2 doors down from where they live, or they're at home at 2 a.m. because they got to be to work at 5. So yeah, I think 2 a.m. is the important piece.
Yeah, Alana said she was shaking down my Mexican police in Cancun twice, and I'm a Black woman. I was definitely turned off. I hear about it more in the tourist towns, a lot in Tulum, in Playa, and in Cancun than I do in Mexico City. In Mexico City, I'm sure it has happened to a Black person in Mexico City. I cannot name them. The white people are always complaining about it, though. Okay, Kim says Potty Barney Williams no more in Querétaro. Good to know. All right. Let's see. Yes, never let them take you to a second location. What would we be doing there? Why are we going? What are we moving to? What's happening? Oprah said, if they take you to the second location, they're going to kill you there. And that has stuck in my head since like the 7th grade.
I think also it's about, like, you already made up your mind, like you're never going to a second location. It's about having a plan in place as opposed to not even considering that this is a possibility, which again goes back to being a Black person in the US. You have to make lots of anticipatory plans to make sure you survive. Mm-hmm. And maybe these folks ain't had to live that life. So, they are truly flabbergasted when they find themselves in these situations.
So I think some of it is that we're used to we need to have a plan for staying alive. And so when we're less worried about staying alive, all our skills are now transitioned to getting through to this next level. Like, I think a lot of white Americans think the police are helpful. They're here to help you, right? A lot of them don't see them as like obstacles to going about their lives, right? Obstacles or threats. The police are there to help you. So when the police don't come off as helpful, it's like, I don't know how to deal with this because you're supposed to be helping me. I'm like, okay, so you're not going to shoot a tourist, right? Like, or a foreigner. I know you're not pulling a gun on me. Like, listen, these police are not, unless they catch me like literally kicking out someone's window. And even if I was literally kicking out someone's window,
I don't think
they wouldn't pull their gun on me. I don't think they'd shoot me. I don't think they'd even pull out their gun. I think they'd just be like, who's gonna tackle her? Who's gonna do this? Because I'm not afraid of dying at the hands of Mexican police, it comes down to like, okay, well, I have these skills. I know what to expect from you. So how do I handle this? I know that you moving me from the light into the dark isn't for my own good, right? Like, that's not to benefit me. And at this point, I need to do as much as possible to benefit me because I'm being stopped in a city where I don't speak the language that well, right? And I need to like maneuver around. So, not going to the second location. To an ATM? Take me to jail. And we can talk about it there. They won't take you to jail. If it's a bullshit, they'll drive you around in their car for a little while.
And then they'll let you off somewhere, is my expectation.
They're not taking you. Because what are they going to say when they get there? When they have to explain it to whoever they report to, what are they going to say? She jaywalked?
In this city? In this city where jaywalking is key to survival?
Yes. Yeah, no, they're not going to do that. No. So someone asked again about getting kidnapped. We talked about this earlier. Nah, no one's getting kidnapped. But that, like I said, that was Oprah. Oprah was talking about America, not here. Let's see. Does anyone think that with Black people having survival skills, because a lot of us come from metro cities, unlike white folks who come from rural suburban areas, my Black suburban relatives are clueless? I feel like your Black suburban relatives would do better than most white suburban people. I could be wrong, but that's my take on it.
Yeah, because even when you are from the suburbs, there is still somebody has had the talk with you about being Black in America. And there are certain skills or certain expectations you have because of that you may not even be aware of, that when you go somewhere else, allow you to roll with the surprises that come with living somewhere else. You know, one of the things I say all the time about living in Mexico, particularly in Mexico City, is the only thing consistent is inconsistency. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I roll with that, but you can definitely see folks who are not Black get really bent out of shape about those things.
When I get on the bus, it never goes the way Google Maps says it's supposed to go. I always end up where I need to be, right? But the route it's taking is not the route it said it was going to take.
No, ma'am.
I'm just like, that's fine.
I used to catch the bus not far from where you live, and they would let me off on the freeway. And I was like, I know this is not what we're supposed to be doing. I tried multiple different bus routes, and one, they did not always go the same way every time, but everybody else on the bus seemed to be rolling with it. And I would be like, okay, but this is where I need to go. And then they'd stop on the freeway. And I love the guy who told me one day, he let me off like on the side of the feeder road, not on the freeway this time, on the side of the freeway. And he tells me, you know, be careful, con cuidado, because I had to cross the feeder to get where I needed to go. So yeah, you know, like, there are people who would be like, well, who do I report this to? Because this is unsafe. You know what? I needed to get where I needed to go.
And you got where you needed to go. You just roll with it. Like you have, living out of the country, moving from one country to the next requires some flexibility. And people who have not had to be flexible in their lives struggle with it. And you see it in these expat Facebook groups. It's a whole lot of, my landlord didn't give me back my deposit. That doesn't happen regularly, but it happens. And so I'm going to complain in this group for days about my landlord not giving me back my deposit. That sucks. But you're talking about $350. And you can't talk about this much, like that much. It is money. It is valuable, but you're not making progress in this group. You're just complaining. Right? Like all of the possible ideas that would have come, their problem solving happened on day 1. Day 2 and day 3, you're just complaining. You're just venting. And there's a lot of people who, anytime anything happens, they take it into the group and they're venting. And so I don't think they give you an accurate representation of what life is like here, because you don't get the like my landlord is lovely, right? But you don't get those in the groups. You get in most groups. I don't think I've seen it in any. You get the like one person complaining about their terrible landlord. for days or even weeks. What are you laughing at, Adalia?
I just saw Waffle Cat Studio translating for me. I forgot that y'all don't know what feeder roads are.
Oh. You mean an on-ramp?
No, it's what she say? It's a service road.
Service drive, yes. I don't know what a service drive is.
That's a feeder road. It's the roads that run parallel to the freeway, not the on ramps, but there's like streets that go down the side. Like in LA, they don't do that. They don't have feeder roads, and in New Orleans, they don't either.
I actually know what you're talking about. That helped me.
You know, that's just like the word washateria. I didn't know. Folks who are not from Texas don't know what that is.
It's not a real. Listen, when I moved to Columbus the first time, when I spent a summer in Columbus the first time, and they had wash and tans, I was like, what the fuck? What? Wash and tans. You could wash your clothes and sit in the tanning bed.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I know you tan leather, but
nope.
I didn't know where that was going.
Tan your body, and then eventually it looks like leather.
Okay.
They had wash and tans. And the people in Ohio were so offended that I thought this was some crazy mess. They also had like drive-through liquor stores. There was a lot that comes from California.
They have those next to dry counties in Texas.
I didn't understand. Y'all just drive through and buy alcohol while you're in the car?
Because if you live in a dry county, you can't buy alcohol. So y'all get together and you drive over the county line. And it's faster if you go to the drive-through liquor store.
It also seems more dangerous. Like I don't feel like the faster versus danger trade-off makes sense. But who are we to judge? T. Walker says, my plan is to, where did it go? T. Walker said her plan was to defecate or urinate on herself if someone tries to harass or attack her. Let them deal with that. That is a plan. I don't know how the rest of your night's going to go, but that is a plan. I would actually be interested in hearing like how that plays out. Hey, sweetie, you just returned from Mexico City. I'm really enjoyed our time there. I'm really glad you had a good time.
Mexico City is a good time.
It is.
It really is a good time.
It's a good time. All right. Let's see. Okay. I cannot get out of here without saying, and we're not going to get out anytime soon. We just be talking. Adalia, our good friend, has a new program that's coming up soon. What's it called, Adalia?
Get Started Investing.
Okay.
No,
go.
No, this is for women who need to get started investing. Something like 29% of women have money invested in the market. I've talked about this already multiple times on my channel that you cannot expect to have your money work for you or beat inflation if you're not invested. But I know it's very intimidating. People get stressed out, they're overwhelmed, they get anxious, they don't know where to start. So this is a very short program that will literally walk you through getting started investing.
So tell us more. I dropped a link. Tell us where that link takes us.
That link takes you to Thinkific, where you can sign up to be on the wait list. I am trying to decide. It's going to be offered in February. I just need to nail down the dates. So enrollment is not open. Enrollment is going to be very, very limited because I want this to be very hands-on. You are, you're opening the account and you've got questions. We're learning how to choose from the different investments available to us, what makes sense for your life, your time horizon, all of that. So the group is going to be small. And so when it does launch next month, the people who have signed up to be on the wait list will be the first ones to find out. And if I haven't said already, it's going to be very small, space is limited.
Okay, so if I come in with no knowledge of the stock market, I leave with money in investments. If I have
Yes.
money to invest,
Yes.
okay. Do they need, how much money do they need to have to invest before they start?
$25.
Okay. All right. And if you're doing my no spend challenge in January, you have $25. You do. You have $25. Speaking of my no spend people, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? Are you holding up? It's been a long month.
It's almost over.
It's been a long month. We
One
talked
more
about
week.
carrying it on into February in the group. You might not have seen that because you were out in the outside. It cost
Yes,
money.
I was in the outside. I had medical issues that needed attending, and so I had to go outside yesterday.
Okay. All right. So let's see. So Adalia's course is going to be great for people who want to start investing, and y'all know I love investing, so I'm definitely recommending that. Someone asked us about dating.
What about dating? Dating is a thing. It
It's a thing
exists.
that
There are people
do.
who do it.
And they do it well. The end. I have not been on a date in Mexico City in this time around, and I moved here last December, so it's been 13 months, and I have not been on a date. I've also not been actively trying because cooties, right? Like the regular cooties were hard enough to try to maneuver, but now like it's hard enough where it's like your genitals might be filthy, right? Like I don't know what's going on with your junk. Your mouth could have some stuff I don't want to get, right? That is one level of danger. But I could sit across from you and end up with long COVID just from like having a drink. That's rough. It's rough.
I mean, I would assume they want to know, like, can you date in Mexico City as a Black woman? Yeah, you can. Yeah. Am I? No. But yes, you can. There are plenty of Black women here who do. I'm just not one of them. I have gone on I actually went on, I think, 3 dates since I had moved back here. Now, the last one was in September. It's been a minute. But yeah, I've been on some dates. I'm not looking to go on any others at this moment.
Yeah, I am. I have a goal. Did I say January?
I thought February.
I said I wanted to go on 2 dates, and I couldn't have said that it was in January because I just set up my Hinge profile yesterday, so that wouldn't really give me enough time. I like to go on 2 dates in January and February. We'll say that. It is a goal of mine to like be out with humans again. But like, so I opened up my Hinge platform and they have all these prompts, and you're supposed to like ask, answer questions or ask questions for them to answer or things for them to know about yourself. And one of them, I was like, how do I make it clear, but I'm not playing games? No, I don't want to do this. Come on, Hinge. And so if you go to my profile, stop it. They get, here we go. One of the questions is all I ask is that you, and I put all I ask is that you wear a mask. So the intention behind it was that if you're in the streets not thinking about COVID, you're gonna see this and it's gonna be a turnoff, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna feel like judgmental. I want you to feel like I'm judging you. Like in this, I want you to feel when it comes to me choosing a partner that if you are not a mask, if you're a man and you're reading the profile, which is of course maybe asking for too much, right?
Yes.
it may be asking for too much. But if you are not just swiping right or however they do it on Hinge, I really joined yesterday. Um, if you're reading the profile, you'll be like, nah, she's too scary, right? Like that's what I want. I want you to feel like if this is not the level of care you have for yourself, you are exclude me, please. Exclude me from
Yes.
your life if wearing a mask is too much for you. Because I don't my concern is that I don't know what you're doing pre-date. I don't know what you're doing post-date. You could be in these streets sneezing in your best friend's mouth. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. I don't want that. I need a level of care and concern. I need you to have a level of care and concern for your own body before we actually take this in person. Because like I said, STDs were one thing, but now I can catch something just from like standing.
Being in the same room with
That don't make sense to me.
I saw that somebody asked about like what kind of men approach you. I think I've only been approached by that one guy who brought me less than half a glass of wine when we were at that restaurant.
Oh yeah, the half glass of wine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell age on the men here. I felt like he was older, but we could have been the same age. I don't know. And if
No,
I was interested,
ma'am, he was at least 15 years older than you.
I would hope that he was older.
He was at least.
But sometimes you can't tell here, and that's been my other issues when I was on the apps. Is I tend to date younger, but younger here is different than younger other places. So then I say, okay, well, let me look at the folks who are my age. And a lot of them look road hard and put up wet. So it's sometimes hard to tell. But like, I mean, that guy, he given the food we saw ordered at their table, he was not without means. However, he just wasn't my type.
Adalia, okay, so I need to tell y'all the story because she's not going to tell it to you correctly. Okay, but hold on real quick. T. Kelly says, if you don't wear masks, I assume you don't wear condoms. And that's exactly what I said to Adalia the other day. You got a dirty dick. If you're not wearing a mask in these streets, your junk is filthy. Like that's just my assumption. Like you don't care enough about your own health. For me, right? Your dick is dirty. Your genitals are a mess. It's just my assumption. It's not fair. It is not a 1-to-1 correlation, I understand. But if I see you in the streets not wearing a mask, there's no way it's getting any further. Because I'm assuming I also assume you have COVID. Like if I see you outside, if I see you outside wandering around and you're just not a mask wearer, I assume you have COVID. Anytime I see you like that. Like, oh, because you're not trying to protect yourself. So what? Okay, this guy spent the night staring at Adalia. Like he was behind me, so I didn't see it until someone pointed it out. But all night long, just staring. Okay.
I didn't see that.
Staring. He brings over wine. Adalia is not into it. But they're talking. They take a photo together.
Yes.
And we forgot to take a photo of them taking a photo together. So I could clown her forever. Forgot about that. Because she was like, yeah.
I was very polite.
You were very polite. You're very polite. This man who spent the night staring at Adalia, who had multiple bottles of wine and brought her over a half glass of wine, did not try to close the deal at all. He didn't ask for her number.
Well, no, he did get my number to send me the picture.
But he never did anything else. He asked for her number. She gave it to him. He never did anything else besides send her the picture, which she wasn't going to do anything with. I said, can you share the picture now, Adalia? Can you find it and share it?
No, I have switched phones since then.
Oh, you have?
So, yes.
Okay.
I no longer have a cracked screen on my phone. I can do things like using my front-facing camera now. So, no, I no longer have that picture unless I may have texted it to a friend and was like, look at what happened to me. But no, I'm sorry. Y'all aren't going to get to see it.
It was truly a half a glass of wine.
which was so bizarre
because they had
because
multiple.
they'd had multiple bottles of wine.
And if you can drink multiple bottles of wine in a night, it's just two of them, you know how much wine comes in a glass. We all looked at it like he didn't try to pick up your check. He brought you half a glass of wine. And then there was no like, I'd like to see you again. There's no like, hey, what do you, it was, this is what
So
I,
bizarre.
this is what I experience with Mexican men in the city is when there's conversation, it's truly just conversation. And that's it. And either I don't know if they're leaving you to close, like to like follow up and do the work,
I don't know. Or if
or
that
they're
was the
not
whole
interested.
point
Yes,
all along. I
I
don't
don't know
know.
if that's the end of it, or they want you to do the. But it really is like, I know we're gonna talk for like 5 minutes, and then we're gonna go our separate ways, and that was it. And so this 5 minute feels like a waste of my time because like there's no follow through. What's happening here? What? I told you guys one time the guy approached me on the street and I was like, oh no, I think like if I didn't know better, I would think you're trying to kidnap me because you're just asking. It's like rapid fire questions. It's rapid fire questions. And then I was like, okay, bye. The end. There's always lots of like, where do you live? Blah, blah, like those kind of questions. And then
I
nothing.
will get passing compliments. Like, I'm not trying to step to you, but I want to tell you, you look good today.
I mean, they don't include that first part though, right?
No,
They just say
it's
like, you
just,
look good today. Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And then it's you go your way and I go mine. So, like I said, there are Black women who date here. I am just not one of them. And that's fine.
Yes. So, Stephanie says, I think they're all married. Mexicans marry early and stay that way. You just want to say hi and get a pic. The way that man spent the night there, like, the two of us other people might as well not have been there because that man could not.
No, he was very focused.
We were not, and so it's more than like getting a pic with the Black girl. He zoned in on her, and
because no, it was a table full of Black girls. He could have got a picture with the whole table.
Mm-mm. 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 All right. Yvette said, he was like, girl, take this wine, backwash, and love me from afar. That was pretty much it. Yes.
I don't want anybody who is like looking for love to be discouraged. I'm sure you can find it. I'm just the wrong person to talk to about that.
I am too. Lisa, thanks for Lisa to Lisa. Thanks for watching. It's your first time here. We do this all the time. Yes, people still wearing masks under their noses. How can you be trusted? How can you be trusted? Oh, I'm sorry. NC-17. Someone said sheet after dark. I'm always like this, y'all. I don't always give it to you, but I'm always like this. Adalia, none of this surprised Adalia because I'm always like this, but I'm not always like this with you guys because ad money, sponsor money, all that stuff. And like, I try to be proper online because mom's watching, but there's a lot of dirty dicks out there and we need to be discerning. Discernment is the word for the week. Discernment. Got to watch out because if they don't care about their own health, they don't care about yours. Like that's just a basic principle. If they are not trying to keep themselves safe, they're not going to do things to keep you safe. Like, we gotta be smart. We gotta be smart. Let's see. Monique says, I've never been approached in Mexico. I don't know if they're shy or unsure or what. Yeah, I am rarely approached.
Here, it always seems like everybody's on their way somewhere.
Yes.
Unless you're like at a park where people are just sitting and chilling. Like if you're on the street, people are on their way somewhere.
If you're at a park and people are sitting and chilling, they already have their makeout partner. And they are tonsil deep.
That is true.
They are.
That is true.
If you are in the park and people are sitting and chilling, bangs are being banged. Like stuff is happening. And that's just very normal in Mexico City. There's not a lot of room for privacy. We talked about that before. People live with relatives a lot. So they got to have their private moments in a public space. And that's a park.
That is very true.
You just keep walking. It's none of your business. You keep walking. I mean, no one's having sex, right? It's just, you know, a little touching, a little rubbing, a little, but like
a little heavy petting.
Very heavy petting. You know, you keep it moving. Yes. There was a question. Oh, birth of music. This is a great question. Are there upscale events that you ladies can attend to meet a different caliber of men, private parties, company events? Take it away, Adalia.
Yes, there are. How do we get invited to those? That is the question. We have figured out that, yes, there, especially when you're talking about local Mexicans, there are upscale events where they are mixing and mingling and all of that.
And the money's like flowing like a fountain.
Yes, lots of money.
You see the wealth, even if it's not like, even if it's understated, you can just see like.
But how do you gain access to that?
No idea.
No clue.
No clue. And then when you're there, are you going to find the wealthy or above average wealthy? Because I think above average in Mexico City might still be the poverty line in the US, right? Like there's a distinct, poor in Mexico is very poor. So men with above average money who are attractive and single. That's
not somebody to easily gain access to.
No. And then we've talked about this before in other lives, that even when we go out, the men who are out without women are out with their friends, and they are not looking for women. They are huddled in like man circle, and no one like enters man circle or exits man circle. It's a very tight kind of like, I came with them, I leave with them, I don't talk to anybody else all night long but them. I don't understand it. It's not the same kind of like, your friend might talk, like crossing the bar, you might talk to someone.
It's so different. It's so different than what we do in the US, because I think a lot of when you go out in same-sex groups, it's understood that like, hey, if you see somebody that interests you, you know, go for it. And I don't get the impression that that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see.
Oh, RM talking about, what about dating other expats? I can't date someone who might have been the oppressor in my home country.
And who's on Hinge?
The oppressor.
Lots of oppressors.
I can't, because I am almost 47 years old. I am not trying to teach somebody to drop their racist upbringing. I don't have time for microaggressions, and maybe there are some okay folks out there, but a lot of the expats who are the most numerous in this city be trying to recreate what they had in America here, and they bring a lot of that oppressor energy, and I'm not in the mood for that. So for expats, I will say that I am open to possibly European men from not West Africa, maybe South Africa, North Africa, but not West Africa.
I think that needs some context, Adalia. You can't just do that. You gotta a little more.
I'm sure. I know I've explained this at some point, but yeah, like I am open to expats who are not white and from America. But yeah, no West Africans.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that's dating in a nutshell. That's it.
I feel like people are going to be so disappointed, but y'all, we are not the people to ask.
No.
But hey, maybe Rashida will go on her 2 dates.
Is Angel here? Hey, boo. Angel knows. Well, she doesn't know anything about dirty dicks, but she knows what I'm experiencing in Mexico. But she did the BYOM that Rosanna and Waffle Cat mentioned. Bring your own man. And she brought her own man to Mexico. And
well, there you go.
I'm having a blast. She might be responsible. She might be responsible for helping me find a man. Angel, when you get back to the city, you have to help me. Because you're definitely more social than Adalia is.
Adalia, I can't help. I can't help.
You are. No, Adalia's not going to be like. She's not.
Y'all, I don't want to talk to a man. I don't want a man trying to talk to me. So no, I am not anybody's wing woman, and that's okay.
Okay. Let me see. Steph mentioned that we could block people. I think I got everyone that needs to be blocked, but I might be not seeing all the people. Oh, Angel also thinks we should date older, but that's a story for another day. We'll talk about it. I know. No, I typically date older, but I know you like them young and tender.
Yeah.
You don't want the beef jerky. You want the like.
No, I want them tender.
Yes, you do. You do. But how's that working out for you?
It's not. Not at all.
Said with love. Lots of love. You know that. Yeah. All right. Okay, so this is the other thing. We have friends who have husbands here. And we're like, where are we on the list for like your husband's single friends? Like how many people are ahead of us? And it just hasn't worked out. And I don't know if it's because nobody here is like single and like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. But yes, so Angel says her love, she calls him her lover. Her lover is going, her and her lover are on it. So hopefully we'll get some luck. He's going to be down here working, I think. Get some luck. Yeah, so I think people who are down, expats is probably the easiest option, but finding one who you think is in your dating pool, but has not been in the dating pool, an active member of the dating pool of every other Black woman in the city is also a little challenging, I think. Like, it's easy to, is cross-pollinate even the word I want to use?
Yeah, I think it is the word.
It's easy to cross-pollinate.
When I was on the apps and that brief moment you were on Bumble, I don't know if we can ever really count you being on Bumble.
We can. I was there.
I was concerned, like, what if I like the same guy that Rashida does?
We would send each other screenshots. Like, have you come across him? Are you talking to him? What's going on? Because, yeah, we can't both be going out with the same guy. I sent her one the other day. I'm like, first person I saw on Hinge, I sent her a screenshot and I was like, okay, this photo, first photo, Black guy. I was like, this photo here is offensive. And she was like, oh, I saw him there too. Or you see my Hinge or on Bumble?
No, on Hinge.
On Hinge. She's the first person I see is somebody she's already seen. And it wasn't like I haven't limited it by race or by anything, but the first person who popped up for me, I guess because I put that I'm Black, the first person that popped up for me was a Black guy that she's already seen. And it was like, how do we expand the dating pool a bit?
And see, I've just taken myself out of the game completely. So they're all there for you.
You're off?
Oh yeah, I've deleted it. Because it comes down to, do I really want to get to know you? Do I care about this enough to ask you the questions I'm supposed to ask? I don't. That is the honest answer. So unless I am out, which ain't happening, unless I'm out and I see somebody that I am interested in and I'm like, hey, I'm interested in you, That's all right. It's okay.
My
I'm good.
yesterday, Adelia sent me a text and she was like, if we want to do, like, if you want to date, you really need to go outside. And I'm like, you went outside because you had a medical issue. Like, I'm not going outside. You're not, we told y'all earlier, we're not going outside. So what is this? What are we going to, how does this work? Why won't the rapid delivery man come and save me from myself? Just with enough money that he doesn't have to be the rapid delivery man.
I was gonna say this is his like side job he does for fun.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. Eating in the fancy restaurants hasn't helped because these men don't go by themselves.
No,
Right?
if they're at a fancy restaurant, they're either with a woman or they are specifically out with the man friend they're out with and not interested in looking up beyond their table.
No, I've never experienced this anywhere else. Like where men are very much like, women do not exist tonight. But it's not us. It's not something we're taking personally. It's like I can watch this table all night long and none of them look at any woman.
You can't even get eye contact.
No, like they are together. It's a very weird thing. And I know this is going to come up. They're not looking at other men either. Like they're just not looking at other people. Like they are together. They are in conversation. They are not looking around. They are, it's nice in a way. Like they're enjoying their man time together, but also like, who's single? What's going on? What's happening? Yeah, it's a very, very weird culture. All right, let's see.
I see Wafflecast Studio calling us lame.
Who's she talking to? Listen, married people need to mind their own business. Let's block her. Stephanie just told me how to block somebody. Let me block her. All right. Asia Arrow says she had one delivered to her the other day that was so fine. Rapid delivery person, I guess. Yes.
That just needs to be his fun job he does because he likes to give back, not because that's what the money he needs to survive.
Because that's not going to take me to the restaurants I want to go to. Okay, so M.A. Cummings asked a good question. What fun events do you both do as a single Black woman? What partying? I'm not quite getting a picture of it other than fine dining.
Partying and me don't really go together because I don't like people enough to party. Not anymore.
I used to, like when I lived pre-COVID, I'd go out to the bars. I would do things, especially with like the Black expat groups. I would do things. Now in COVID, they're having like house parties. Like sweatbox. Like those college sweaty house parties are what I see them doing. And I'm like, of course no one's masked because everyone's drinking. People who are drinking don't typically wear masks. Or they wear them less. And so it just hasn't been my thing. Someone asked about marathons. No, it's hard in this city. It's hard. The city is very, very, very wonderful outside of COVID. In COVID, it's harder to do things because of the number of people around means that the number of people who've touched everything is just higher, right? Like every doorknob you touched has been touched by like 1,000 people in the last hour, right? It's something that you just keep in mind because there's so many people, right? So it's a little harder to do things and still feel like you're taking care of yourself and you're being safe. So that's why I'm resorting to the apps. Because like I said, I haven't been outside this month.
But there are events. There's a group of people, all kinds of people who get together and they do like a picnic in the park. There are game nights. There are like dance lessons that after the dance lessons, they have like a party at this venue. There is all those kinds of things. But it's a bunch of people who are not wearing masks. And I don't know those people. I don't know how they live their lives. But if they're around other people and not wearing masks, that is not a place I can be.
Oh, hosting intimate dinner parties. First of all, it's hard to eat with Adalia. I'm gonna say that. Um, it's hard to
It's
cook for
not
her.
hard to eat with me.
It's
It is
hard to
hard
cook
to
for her.
feed me.
It's hard to feed her. Second of all, I don't have a dining table. Y'all be eating on the couch. Eating on the couch. Um, I thought about that the other day because one of the nicest events we went to here was a dinner party, and it was really really nice. But it was all women. Not a problem. Love women. Um, but it didn't lead to like knowing more men or getting to know more men. So
It led to confirmation of much of our independent research. We'll say that.
hi Ashley. Okay, so Ashley says, I think it's not weird. I'm Mexican. I think they just appreciate time with their friends. Yeah, if I said it was weird, I didn't mean it like that. I meant that it's weird for me to experience because if I'm in a bar in the US, the men that are there with their friends are trying to actively meet women or actively meet other people. Like they're like half listening to their friends while scouting out who's
Scanning for
walking
women.
by, right? And so that's why it's a weird to me. It's not weird that they do it, right? It's not, I'm not saying that their actions are weird. I'm saying it's not something I'm used to experiencing. I hope that helps with the weird. It wasn't a judgment about what they're doing. It's about how I experience what they're doing. All right. So yeah, so we're not actually doing, let's see. There are a lot of trolls happening right now. Ask Adalia to pack her own food. She don't show up with like.
If I got to bring my own food, I'm not coming.
Well, yes, there is that. There is that.
I've told y'all I don't cook, so I'm definitely not going to whip something up to go eat at somebody else's house. No.
Adalia is stopping at a bakery on the way and bringing back something with her.
Yeah.
That's all she's doing. Okay. Let's see. I feel like we've covered dating. There were questions about socializing, which we got to. I think we might be on it. Stephanie said we might be able to find COVID widows.
That is possible. That is a possibility. I'm not looking hard for one, but okay.
Abba says older men are looking for a nurse with a purse.
See, and I am not about that life. I did that for 20 years. I am out of that business.
Okay.
Brooklyn Muse asked about any museums to visit. Mexico City has the most museums of any city in the world. But because of the growing cases of Omicron, many of them are closing their doors indefinitely now. So that option is being eliminated, and that's a tough thing, being in this city and having the museums closed.
Yes. So there's a museum for everything. The other day I ran up on the stamp museum and I was like, we got a stamp museum here? For why? Who knows?
There's a shoe museum in Centro I just found.
Yes. There's what else? There's like a gun museum, which is weird.
That is weird.
Because you can't really buy guns here. But there is some kind of weapons museum, which I guess isn't that weird, but yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of museums and they're pretty awesome. There's more than you can ever go to. Right? But we love this city because of all of the awesome things, but it's definitely better when there's no COVID. Yes. Let's see.
COVID is messing up everything. It really is.
Okay, I feel like we've done it. Y'all, if you have any more questions, add them in the chat real quick. But otherwise, I think we have done it. We've done it. Ooh.
I will say, if you are considering a move to Mexico City and you're trying to figure out what part of the city to move to, what are some good neighborhoods, I put out a video on Friday on that very topic, which should be useful to you.
Are you going to drop the link here, or are you just going to talk about it?
Oh, my plan was just to talk about it, but
okay.
I guess find a link.
Real helpful. Keep talking.
Let's see if I can find a link.
Okay, Monique says there are plenty of outdoor cafes and restaurants, plenty of parks. I feel comfortable socializing here. I feel comfortable socializing one-on-one with someone like Adalia, where like I know how she lives. It's the like, I'd love to learn how to salsa dance, right? I'd love to take salsa dancing lessons, but I'm not comfortable touching humans that I've never seen before in life right now, right? Like that, the amount of like touching and holding hands and that you have to do and the closeness, that's not something.
With someone you don't know how they're living their life.
I've never seen you before. I don't know how you're living your life. I don't know. So yeah, so catch Adalia's video about the different neighborhoods. I think that's going to be really, really helpful. Brooklyn Muse, in the very beginning of the video, we talked about braiders. So we both got someone else to braid our hair. And I'll be trying to trick someone into taking these braids down very soon because I'm tired of them. Greta, no, I'm not looking for a new apartment. I'm going to stay. I decided to stay in my apartment. My rent is going up by a whole $36 a month. So I'll survive that. And yeah, that's pretty much all we got right now, I think. Let's see if there are any more questions. Let's see. Oh yeah, Abba went to the Anthropology Museum and it was closed. The Anthropology Museum is the first museum to close. It's like the Anthropology Museum is like the canary in the coal mine. Like once it closes,
once that one goes,
you know, other ones
the
are
rest
closed.
of them.
That's one where they're like, you know what, y'all, take your asses home, and then everything else starts to close after that. But if that one is closed, other ones are typically open. You just have to figure out which ones they are, and sometimes it's really just trial and error, just showing up and seeing what happens. But.
Except if you're trying to go to the Dolores Olmedo Museum, which I have been trying to go to for 2 years, they announced the other day, we're just closed permanently. They was like, we're done playing these games. Thanks. So that's disappointing.
Yeah. There are a lot of museums won't close it when we're yellow. They won't close at all. They'll stay open, especially some of the smaller ones. Or like the medium-sized ones. Like Frida Kahlo is going to close when we're red, right? It's not going to close when we're yellow. Her husband, that man, I
was about to call him Eduardo, and that is not his name.
I don't say his name. That man, his museum, that man she was married to, his pre-Columbian museum, I don't think it ever closes.
What is his name?
It don't matter.
I'm like, Guillermo is coming to mind, and that is not his name.
That man.
His name is not Benito. I am trying to relate.
Angela put it in the chat. I'll say his name.
Thank you.
Rasta Pablo, my rent is going up by $36 a month. I do not pay $36 a month in rent. That would be lovely, but I would be in a box on the street in Mexico City.
Yeah.
At $36.
I
would be in a box on the street 2 hours outside of the central neighborhoods for $36 a month. But let's see. We don't have any recs for residency in Mexico. If you're in Mexico City, if you're thinking of coming down here, Adalia, did you remember the name of the person? You said you didn't.
I know the person's name. I did not say it.
Okay. Because you've never used them.
I
would join Facebook groups and ask in there for recommendations. If a person recommends themselves, don't listen to them. Unless like 17 other people are like, yes, I've used them. They're awesome.
Yes.
That's the only time. Otherwise, don't do it. All right. Friends. Cheryl McNeil says, thank you for your perspectives. My husband is Black and I worry about where we move to and how he will feel. It's good to know you're finding more freedom in DF. Yeah, I hope he's happy wherever y'all move to. Has COVID significantly affected the cost of living in Mexico City, either up or down? It's gone up because a lot of Americans and people from other countries are coming here because they're not testing to get in. They were giving 180-day visas so they could come for 6 months, leave for a couple of days, and then come back for another 6 months. And so there were more digital nomads and expats than before. I think that's not going to. Adalia and I both think that when COVID starts to I think Stephanie said it's going away in the spring or the fall. Stephanie always says COVID's going to be gone by. She's always wrong. So, but when COVID does sprinkle away, I mean, it gets lower.
Or maybe COVID never goes anywhere, but other countries open.
There's a lot of people who are here who don't want to be here. Like they want to be in Thailand, they want to be in Singapore, they want to be somewhere else, but they can't be there either because they're not letting people in or the requirements are too stringent right now or something else. When those other countries open up, the rents are going to start falling again because these people are leaving. There are people who are here. There are people who are running companies in Mexico right now about being in Mexico, living in Mexico, all the things about Mexico, who don't even like Mexico. And you know what, by the way, they talk about it. They don't even like being here, but they're here. And so they're trying to make money off of being here. But yeah, there are a lot of people here who don't want to be here. It's kind of sad to see. You see a lot of expat groups where they start complaining about things. And it's like, what are you complaining? What's happening? You really don't want to be like, everybody in Mexico is corrupt. There's no good reason to be here. And why are you here? You're not here for work. You're a digital nomad. You could be anywhere, but you're here because it's easiest, it's cheapest. You can come in any old way you want to because there's no requirements.
And that's the thing.
Rent will fall again. It's gone up a bit, but rent will fall again. But I also think people expect rent to be lower in Mexico City than it really is. People think it's like, it's Mexico, so it must be cheap.
Not rent.
Like we said, is it 25 now, Adalia?
What's that?
Million people?
No, it's about 22.
22.
22.
It's 22 million people here. That's 22 million people all trying to pay for the same spaces.
And they're not enough. They're not enough apartments. That's the big thing. So that also drives up price.
Mm-hmm. So it's not a cheap city. It's not a cheap. You can get some cheap tacos, maybe. They probably charge you gringo prices. But
my water bill is $1.25 a month. But my rent.
So yeah, but there are much cheaper places to live in Mexico than Mexico City. But we love it here, which is why we live here. All right. Rasta Pablo says COVID will end this year, and Nubianet had the next comment at COVID is here to stay. There's already a new offshoot from Omicron.
Again, we did this video a year ago, and there is no way you could have told me that a year later I would be in my apartment not wanting to go outside for fear of getting COVID.
Mm-hmm. We were so excited. Like in the fall, like in the late summer, in the fall, we were like, we can take food tours again. We can go outside. We can work.
Living life.
And now it's like, is it worth it? We can still co-work. We'll do it online. We online co-work now instead of in-person co-work. We don't live that far. But the price we pay for trying to stay safe. I haven't had COVID yet. I don't want to get it. As far as I know, I haven't had it yet. I don't want to get it. I have my own health concerns that make it a little extra for me. Like I just don't. Being dehydrated throws my body into shock. Like I can't imagine also having COVID. It's not ideal for me. So trying to avoid it desperately, which is why I haven't been on a date in a year. Also, y'all, if you're not ready for Rashida and Adalia After Dark, Clock off now. Go on a date. It seems to go well. How do you take things? You haven't gotten COVID sitting there with this person. Maybe you know because you wait a week before you see each other again. Who knows? How do you take it to the next level? Like at what point do you trust that they are not going to, like, if you exchange saliva with this person, you are not like voluntarily grabbing COVID. Like my brain has not processed that yet. It hasn't. If any of you guys have suggestions, drop them in the comments. Like, what are we doing? Are y'all COVID testing your people? What are you doing?
Like, what is that? Like, how does
I feel like you almost have to live in this day and age. You almost have to like live together before you become intimate. Like, I need to know.
I need to know how you live your life.
I need to know how you're living your life. I need to know. Right? And like, how do you do that with strangers? So
somebody had asked about events. There was an event I saw posted, which seemed like a good one, but in the description, there was no mention of COVID protocol, nothing. So what that tells me is y'all just all gonna be there up on each other. Nobody's wearing masks with strangers. And if that's how you live in your life, I can't be at your event.
Mm-mm. Oh no, the wonderful teacher got it 2 weeks ago. Omicron is very contagious. I got it from students. Don't date. This is where we are. Listen, Angela Rochelle says, take a COVID rapid test on the date. That might be the answer.
Like on the date, carry some in your purse. Be like, before we do that goodbye kiss.
Like,
can I swab your nose?
Can I jam it up to your brain? What can we do? Yes. No, we can, but there are, as people who, as introverts, right? People who don't like to be in the streets anyway, it's pretty easy to do that in Mexico City. I get all my food delivered. I can pay my bills online.
There is not a thing you cannot get delivered in this city.
Y'all know I delivered her cake during the summit. Like, there's nothing. Like, from my fridge to hers, delivered.
In her Tupperware.
There's
the
nothing
cake came to my house.
Yeah. Cassandra, I hope you're feeling better now. Because it's rough out there. A date at the doctor's office to get a checkup. Getting an appointment at a doctor's office right now, child? No. All right. We have done it. I'm hungry. Which is when it's time to end. It's been fun, but I must eat. So, thank you all for sticking around. This was very well attended. Hit the like button. Hit the like button.
Subscribe.
Oh, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe. If you're interested in Mexico City, there's no one with better information than Adalia Aborisade. So go ahead and subscribe to her channel. Picky Girl Travels the World. Boop, 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 boop. So subscribe to my channel, subscribe to her channel. We talk money, we talk Mexico City. Join her wait list right now should be full. For those of y'all who are not investing yet, the stock market's on sale right now. There's no better time to get in. Get in her challenge. It's a challenge. It's a challenge.
It's a challenge because it's short. But
get in her challenge. Listen, have her help you. Because if next year this time you're like, oh, I haven't been investing because it's too hard, I'm gonna laugh in your face. Because Adalia is right here making it easy for you. You don't want me laughing in your face. I'm a point and laugh. I'm very good at pointing and laughing. You don't want that.
Yes, she is.
I am. All right, we've covered, I think, the gamut. We talked about earthquakes. We talked about COVID. We talked about dirty dicks. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think we hit the highlights.
Mexico City 2022. We covered it. All right. Thank you all for being here, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye, Nelly. Thank you for being here. Bye. Oh, I can't do this.